Hi guys, welcome back to my channel called Determined to Praise. I pray that you guys are having a great day, that you're having a blessed week. I hope that you guys enjoyed last week's video, and I really hope that you guys are just really enjoying this month full of different people just giving their testimony, their journey of their walk with Christ. I really hope that you guys are enjoying it. That is just giving you guys understanding of who He is and what He can do, and from how He's brought people from where they are to where they are now. Because a lot of us get so discouraged and think that this person's life is perfect or that person's life is perfect and that he couldn't perfect us. But the truth is God can work miracles through anybody. So I pray that you guys continue to like, share, subscribe to the channel. So today I have my cousin Shauna on here to answer some questions. And so I titled this Your Walk with Christ. So the first question is, what made you come to God?
Um, I would say, um, my heart, the way, the way I'm designed to be. Um, Early on, I got a connection with God. Just from me being raised in church
Mm-hmm.
all the time. Having people around me, it was something that it was easier for me to grasp hold to because I was already familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a desire for it. Watching what it does in other people's lives. It helped me. It made me want to get closer to God, do more things inside of His church because with the heart that I was given and the way when it's being done correctly, the way the body of Christ
Mm-hmm.
is, I know that it ultimately offers help in so many different ways. So that's what really made me grab hold.
Okay, the next question is, what was the thing that made you stay with God? I was saying in other videos, like, sometimes we stray and then we come back or whatever the case is. What was the thing that made you stay? Like, okay, I'm going to keep going this way. Like,
Um, I would say learning God is what made me stay. Um, Oftentimes is when you have when you form a connection with God. Oftentimes you don't know how to maintain it,
mm-hmm.
which is pretty familiar in any relationship you have. You got to learn a person, you got to get to know a person,
Right.
and some people don't see having a relationship with God as that. But um, it was a time when I wasn't around the people who brought me to God, where I didn't know how to get a connection to God on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very hard for me. It was very hard because it was so easy. It was something that came naturally to me. So when I was in that state, um, getting to really know Him was very much what made me stay. Understanding that we're gonna go through stuff, and it people look at, I guess, Christianity and they expect a perfect life,
Mm-hmm.
and it was learning God for me to learn that there is no perfect life.
Right.
um, you are gonna have struggles.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes when we do pray and we ask God to give us something, He indeed does give us struggles
Mm-hmm.
in order to form those things. Recently I was going through stuff. I was going through something, and I found myself getting angry, and I remember laughing because I was like, I prayed for this years ago. Like I prayed really hard. God,
Mm-hmm.
just make me meek because I know how to speak back. I
Mm-hmm.
react very easily, and
Mm-hmm.
God just pray to make me meek. And in those moments where I would be attacked and I didn't have the eagerness to say anything back, it I was angry because of who my natural man is, but also in the same sense, I kind of just laughed and was like, well, look at God. So it's it was learning Him that
Yeah.
really allowed me to stay because Christianity is a forefront, the people, the church, the pulpit, but actually forming a connection with God
Mm-hmm.
is the ultimate goal. So
Yes.
it was that.
Yeah, no, I always tell people like, and I give testimonies and have other people give testimonies, but I always say you would never like, regardless of what I say to you, you're never going to get him until he come through for you in a way where you thought it could never happen, and that's where you get that bond of trusting him and realizing, okay, You did it last time, so I can fall back. I cannot worry
Mm.
this time. I mean, we're gonna still do it because we're human, but
Because we human, and people don't realize. I always laugh, and they be like, and I tell people all the time, like I naturally I like to wake up happy,
uh-huh.
and people are like, yeah, I'm going through something just like you, or
Mm-hmm.
something that it could be different, but it still hurts,
Mm-hmm.
and you're wondering why I'm smiling, and it's not because I'm not going through something.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you form a relationship with God, God gives you grace.
Yes.
He gives you faith, and faith is looking at something saying it doesn't look right, it doesn't feel right,
Mm-hmm.
but I know He's gonna get me through it.
Yes.
That is where your comfort comes in at, because
Yes.
now God gives you the ability to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Most times when you're going through something, it is natural to stress
Mm-hmm.
or to just have it on your mind. But sometimes people are like, you're so easygoing, but it's because I know whatever is meant to be,
Mm-hmm.
God will allow it to happen. If I try to over control it or allow
Mm-hmm.
my natural man to get in the
Mm-hmm.
way, I'll make it a lot more difficult. And
Yeah.
sometimes God just wants you to rest in Him. Like having faith in Him, there is a reward, and just some people just they don't get that until they actually get to know God.
Yes. Yes. Okay, the next question is, how do you feel following God?
Um, I feel like it honestly is the only way that I would be able to live my life. Um, I would say that once you do form a relationship with God, make Him your foundation
Mm-hmm.
of your life, because regardless of where you're at, regardless of what you're doing, regardless of who you're around, He will find a way to come through. And it's literally been times I've been in sin, and I watch God use me, and that's one of those things that we call grace. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because no, I shouldn't be being used. No, I'm not doing it the right way. I'm not doing it the way it looks right. But
Mm-hmm.
God has no respect of a person. When He wants to use you, He'll use you. And it's it's really that, just having Him as my foundation has been the best way that I would be able to live life. Like, I've seen people lose it over stressing and over situations, and
Mm-hmm.
I've been through things that have tested my faith tremendously.
Yes.
But having God as my foundation, knowing that I know a path when I don't feel right, I know where to go to
Mm-hmm.
feel comfort. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's some people, like I have trouble some like just sleeping, and I literally am arguing with my natural man, like, I'm tired, my body's tired, why can't I sleep? Or sometimes God, I'll get woken up out of my sleep in the middle of the night, and a lot of people are like, how do you go back to sleep? I literally would just pray. And people find it funny, but it's because He's my foundation. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a Christian doesn't mean that I'm gonna do everything perfect, that
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do it the right way.
Right.
But having Him as my foundation leads that any path I go down, I expect it to lead back to Him in
Yeah.
some type of way. So
Okay. The next question is, how did you feel when you weren't following God?
I could feel it. I tell you that much. I can feel it. A lot of times, um, in this, it takes me back to that moment where I said I had a connection with God, and when the people who allowed me to get closer to God weren't around, and I was lost in that time, it always, anytime I feel that way, believe it or not, it's the weirdest way, but it brings me back to Him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I remember being in a storm, and that's the weirdest thing about trusting God and having a relationship with Him, is that sometimes we don't believe that, we don't realize that what is hurting us is God uses it to form you. And it's the weirdest way to understand the concept, because we automatically go, how can somebody who says they love me and they want the best for me can hurt me? But when you see the results of your hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I tell people, when I am mad and angry, I work the best. I get things done the best. And not having Him in my life at certain times, that grace, that faith, you feel it slipping.
Mm-hmm.
And when you feel yourself drowning and you know you don't got nothing to grab onto,
Yeah.
you feel it. You
Mm-hmm.
feel it. You feel it a
Mm-hmm.
lot worse. Like, I remember um, having both of my children, the last two, and I remember when I carried my son. I remember feeling really like lost. I really still don't even remember how I got through the 9 months. I don't. But I remember when I got pregnant with my daughter, and God just told me, like, this time you won't feel like you're drowning. And although I wasn't in the best situation at the time, I didn't feel it. And people don't, if they never been through nothing, they don't understand the comfort. Yeah. Like, I don't have it, I don't see it, but I don't feel like the way I should feel. Yeah. Those things were meant and sent to me to break me, but it's having that faith in God and saying, when God literally gave me that word, like, this time you won't feel like you're drowning. Everybody around me questioned what I was going through, why I was in that season, how did I get back in that season. But having that relationship with God and saying, even though I know I'm going through something and other people can't see what it's doing for me, yes, I know there's a purpose in it all. And I can say now, I can say today that I I very much know the difference between having him in my life and not having him in my life. And when you have that relationship with God, you'll be able to feel the difference every single time.
Yes. The next question is, who is God to you?
He is everything, is what I can really say. Be again, having him as your foundation is, it is time that I can literally sit and think. And that's why I tell people, even when you're like not even as close to God as you should be, there has to be moments, if you know God for yourself, where you know it is necessary to go spend time with him. It could just literally be times I'm just walking around and I'm just cleaning up, but I won't cut on no music because I just want to be able to hear him, or whatever it is he has to say to me. He is literally everything to me. Again, I don't even know how in this day you can make it without having faith in God. Seriously. I always tell people this, and I laugh all the time, like when people talk about the world and the things that are going on, like in out that affects everybody, not just Christians, just for everyday lifestyle, like the world shutting down. And I always tell people, I never argue with people about God, because those words, these things that are coming to pass, is in my Bible. Yes. So that's my answer. Yes. That's my reality, that I don't need anybody else to believe in this thing. I believe it for myself. He's literally everything to me. In my bad, in my good, in my wrong, in my right. He literally finds a path. He finds a way. I find a way to stay connected to him. And I I just don't know how I would start something or finish something without having him in the midst of it. That's just, that's what he is to me. Sometimes I tell people, like, if you see me smiling or you see me laughing, it's him. It is literally him. Like, I can literally be angry and I will literally, and sometimes it's funny, and I will literally say to God, like, God, I don't know why you have me in this position, but whatever it is, before you know me, you know me. Please, God, whatever this is meant to take me to or put me through, let it, let you have some type of outcome in the end of it. Like, I literally was tested this week, and I remember the night before, I was laying in bed and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't get it off my mind. Even to the point where I just kind of wanted to walk away from it. And the morning of, I get up and I go, and for whatever reason, I wasn't angry. I wasn't angry at all, and I was just like, that's weird. Because if you know my natural person, I had every right to be angry, but I didn't. I didn't yell. I didn't get angry, and I just remember just saying, like, God, trust. Like, God is telling me, like, just trust me, like. And I make it my business to not overstress myself about things I have no control over, because that's one of the important things about God. When you have him in your life and you are listening to him, you will realize that some things are pinned against you for a reason. He's giving it to you for a reason. Yes. And when I got there that morning, I was just like, whatever is meant to happen, it happened. Not even 2 or 3 days later, that situation was handled, and I had no parts in it. And that is why I say God is my everything, because something that I spent a night stressing over, what God was trying to really give me was comfort and rest in it, because He had already taken care of it. I just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
But that's why He's everything to me, because I've literally learned to rest in Him. And when you, even if you never formed a real connection with a person, like a real connection, like being comfort around them, or not having to say nothing, but they know how you feel. That's what it's like to have a relationship with God, because this is a person you can't see, that you never physically touch, but you know there are times when you have a connection with God that you literally pray to Him about something, or you just talk to Him about something, and He'll take care of it on your behalf, and you're kind of like, oh, this is real. This is where God comes real. Like, this is how you, when people think about God, they hear people like speak about Him, and they're like, they're thinking blessings, blessings, blessings. But as I've gotten older, at 30 years old, I've completely learned a misconception of what Christianity was meant to be and what it really is to me. So God has really became my everything. And I always tell people, and they laugh because they be like, because I'm a natural man just like anybody else, and they be like, how do you get away with some of the stuff you get away with? I'll be like, you have no idea who God is. But it's also in those times where I am going through the worst. And I remember one time God told me, like, oh, this test is gonna test you. And putting my faith in Him that it was gonna work out for my good was probably one of the hardest things, because I couldn't see it, I couldn't feel it. The situation didn't look like what it felt like that He was saying, but it was in those moments where you realize this is what a relationship is. Like, He didn't say, I'm gonna put you through this and I'm gonna, like, it's gonna be the end of you. I'm gonna put you through this and I'm gonna carry you through it, was the thing. And that's why He's my everything, because here I am 4 years later, and it's kind of like, if any, I put it to you this way, if God was to warn you about everything He was gonna put you through, would you even stay?
Right.
You wouldn't.
Right.
So I knew what God was saying to me, and I knew exactly what the situation was about, but I promise, I remember sitting in that bathroom like, God, I can't. I can't. I like literally prayed like, God, I do not want this to happen, but I can't be happier enough now to realize what it was meant for, what it's done for me and to me. And that's that's why He is everything He is to me. Because no matter what it is that I'm doing, no matter where I'm at, or who I am today, or who I am to become, I literally know that always leads back to Him, and it's meant for my good. So it's a comfort in that. And again, until you form that relationship with God, you it's an unspeakable comfort, but it's a comfort that's there, like, and it's your natural man, that counts you out. And I always tell people that's like, it's a million of us in this world, but everybody's walk is so unique. It's no way you can't love God, even in the things that you go through. There's no way. So that's literally why He's everything to me, in all ways, shape, and form.
Okay. The next question is, what has changed about you?
Um, where do I start? Um, I tell you this, a lot has changed about me, where I wouldn't be able to give a specific part of me, but one of the things I can say that I love about my changes are the way my mind has changed, the way my heart has changed. Those are probably the two biggest things to me. They make me me. Um, so that's what I love. I always tell people it's hard to love me, because you don't know how to. A lot of people don't know how to form a relationship with me because they don't know what I have to offer,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't. When it looks like nothing, you don't go looking to. You don't go looking for it
Mm-hmm.
too much often. You don't go seeking it. But sometimes I I love God because He allows me to give people a different perspective on things. He has changed my mind, and I've been able to get so much knowledge from the things that I've gone through that it has put me in a position to help other people. And it's crazy how God will lead you right back to who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I started, I said it was my heart. And it's my heart that made me want to help people.
Mm-hmm.
But even in my home, no matter what, I don't care if I'm at work. Nobody knows at my job that I even go to church. Like maybe until this week where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to church on Sunday, and they were just like, oh, you go, and I was just like, yeah, because I don't have to speak on it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, sometimes if you ever been in a room and people don't know you know God, they be like, it's something different about you, but I
Mm-hmm.
just can't. I can't
Yeah.
put my finger on it. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you don't want to say, oh, I know God, but literally, even in my sin, I've been in a room full of people, and people are just like, it's something different about you. Oh, there's a reason why you were here.
Mm-hmm.
Having people just tell me, like, it was a time I was going through something, and your wisdom got me through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your words were comfort to me to the point where I knew how to get through something. I was even at work, and I was talking to a girl from a completely different store, and she was asking me something about a guy she was talking to or dealing with, and my perspective on the situation. By the time we left the end of the night, she was just like, I thank you. I thank you so much because I didn't look at it that way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
thank you because now I know what to say to him. Now I know how to handle what's going on. And that is the change that I like to see within myself.
Mm-hmm.
Even in my natural self, like allowing God to give me knowledge of things and places and how to handle things has probably been one of the best things to me because I know that no matter who I meet or who I come across, and that's one of the good things I think that God loves about me that Christians find hard to understand about me, that I could put myself in a room with people who are the complete opposite of what God embodies, and they're like, how? You're not supposed to. But whether you're my friend, I don't care if I run into you in passing, I gained enough knowledge that those 10 commandments that God wrote were given to you for a reason, and God
Mm-hmm.
tells you to love everybody like you love him. And
Mm-hmm.
that's because God tells you not to judge, and that's because, like, same way I believe, the same way I was raised Christian,
Mm-hmm.
God didn't give me the right to judge somebody who was raised a different religion.
Yeah.
I believe that who God is to me through me
Mm-hmm.
will help somebody come closer to God. So
Yes.
I'm never in a room with somebody who goes, I don't believe in God, and I argue why you don't believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
My speaking, my mouth, my heart leads people to God in the
Yes.
weirdest way. So that is just really it. Like, him changing my heart and my mind, it it gives me so much significance in my life because some people, certain things are important to people on how they are raised, and there were certain things I didn't have growing up that I've gained the knowledge of that I'm grateful for because now I can hand it off to my children,
Mm-hmm.
and I can hand it off to other people. So my biggest job is using this knowledge that God gave me to give to someone else because you don't want your you don't want it to go for no reason. And
Right.
I know if God is using me in those places,
Mm-hmm.
He desires to use me in another place.
Right.
It's just me getting there. But those two things, my heart and my mind, are two of the biggest parts of me that God has changed, and through it all, I'm grateful for both changes.
Okay, and this is the last question. What is your favorite thing about God?
Um, my favorite thing about God is, and my favorite thing about God is the way He does things. Um, it is by far one of the most amazing things to me because people don't realize when God is even doing things because it, again, regardless of what's going on or depending on what's going on, they don't expect God to come in that way. And it's kind of like, it's funny to watch him move because I told somebody this the other day, like, I think you stressing and I think God is trying to give you rest. And I know in their mind it was like, what? But it led me back to 2 days later to the situation being handled, and God just laughed and said, I was giving them rest. They just didn't know how to take it. Because and I said that to God because as much as I love the heart that God has given me, it is also one of the things that gets me in trouble a lot. Yeah. Because when you love too hard, you don't realize that everybody can embody the love that you give. Yeah. And ultimately, you can end up hurting yourself. And I told somebody the other day, I said, now that I'm 30 years old, I kind of laugh at myself sometimes because that wisdom and knowledge God had been given to me, I chose not to use it because I said a lot of the situations that I've been in, God has literally told me exactly what was going to happen before it even happened. And how the situation to end, I said, and for whatever reason, I'll stay. I said, and that's me hurting me. And God gave me that knowledge to prevent me from being hurt so much, but I didn't use it. So it is one of the amazing things to see God move because in all of that, it taught me to take accountability for who I am, my actions. And you don't see it that way when you're going through it because it's just like, but the funny thing I love about God because you just never know. I watched a video earlier and somebody was talking about Jennifer Hudson. And when she started to speak about it brought me back to years ago when Jennifer Hudson was on American Idol. And if everybody remembers, she was the loser. And everybody just looked at her as the girl who lost against Fantasia. And I didn't even know that the night, the last night of the American Idol season of that show, the power had completely went out in her city. So nobody in her town was able to vote for her. Wow. And it's the funny thing about God because, and why I say sometimes God gives us, he tells us to rest. We just don't choose to. Because what if she would have took that and said, I'm a loser. I don't want to do nothing else. Right. And then she turned around and lost her sister and everybody close to her. But in it all, the funny thing about God was he still had a plan for her. Yeah. He still used her, even in everything she was going through, although she was being the loser. Because of sometimes if we grasp hold to what we see versus where God is trying to take us, if we don't leave him that room to do it, we do it to ourselves sometimes. But that's the one thing I love about God, how he is, who he is, how he moves, because it is the thing that keeps you going back because you just always want to know how. You always just want to know how. How. Right. And God says, the things that I've given you, the faith, the grace, like the anointing I give you, when you begin to use those things that I've given you and you you and I always tell people when I used to dance, one of the things I will always pray is, God, move my natural man and you use me. Because what I need people to get, they would not be able to get through me. Right. I need them to feel you. Because I'm natural, so I do things throughout the week. And when you're giving a gift to other people, you want to be able to give it to them purely. And that's why all those years that I danced, I was able to wholeheartedly give God and people everything because I always ask God, move me out the way. And that's the funny thing about God. How can you not want to love a person who can do these type of things that can make you feel this type of way? Mm-hmm. That even when you do wrong in your own says, I still got you. Mm-hmm. I still will catch you. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing I love about God, just who he is, how he does things for you, for me, because it's literally probably one of the most amazing things. Sometimes I could literally sit down and go, I'm at all with who this person is to me because I don't deserve these things. Mm-hmm. I know I do wrong. I know that I'm supposed to be doing this, but I'm doing this, and it's just like, look at God, look at who I am, and that gives me another reason to come back, like just because of who he is and how he does it.
Listen, I really enjoyed this with you today. I really, really did. I really pray that you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I hope that you guys got something out of this, that it just really opens your heart to understand God and who he is, because it really is just a blessing. It really, really is.
It is. And you know what's funny? The other day, I meant to tell you, because I never got a chance to call you when you sent me the video of Lamar walking. I was at work when you sent it to me, and I got so excited watching him walk, and it took me back though, like years ago, just how crazy your faith can be. Like when you're able to love God and you can grasp hold to his faith, you can see things that other people can't see. And I remember you telling me like, I don't believe he's gonna be this way. And I remember I called Kiki and I said she wasn't crazy. Like that was your faith. And sometimes we can't see it, but who would have known 4 or 5 years later, like this is what we'll be seeing. Like, and I'm looking at God like, although he's not completely doing it on his own, like I can imagine the long nights, the days back and forth at the hospital. Like, this is where your faith gets weary because you're questioning God. Like, is this real? Do I feel what I feel? But whatever you felt that day, it had to be real. It was seeing it come to pass, and sometimes being able, grace. Grace is also like a waiting period because you gotta allow God to take his time with things. Because if he'd have rushed in here and gave it to you so quick, what would have happened? But how look at how God works. Like only you have that testimony. Only you can give that testimony, and God puts you through things for a reason. Because there is somebody else that needs this. That needs this because we can't believe what you believe. Like you were the mom, you were the one going through it. But it was also your faith that got him there. It was also your faith in God that said, I know other people don't see this, but I do. And that's the funny thing about God. Like, you never know where he's pushing you to, but it's being able to take that walk with him and say, I'm gonna go. Like, I know this is gonna hurt. I can. We know it costs money. We know it costs time, and we also know there's not a lot of moms who would ever be able to even go through this. And not only while you were going through it, but he allowed you to do it in grace. And here you are, and that's your testimony. But through your testimony, I didn't go through it, but I got to watch it. And that gives me faith to say it don't look like it today, but 4 years from now, it could be everything that I said it was going to be. And it may not look like nothing to you, but it's something to me because who would have known? Who would have known? Nobody would have known. Nobody would have believed it, but that's your walk. That was the walk that God gave you. And to have people around you doubt this, listening to doctors, like it had to be the hardest thing, but to have that faith is the thing I love about God because We don't, sometimes we don't even grow up with it. Nobody gives us this, have faith in this, have
Mm-hmm.
faith in this, but you had it for whatever reason. And sometimes it's just don't, we don't, you don't question God because there's a reason for everything. And that's, that is the funny thing about God. Like, and that's how, you know, everything kind of just leads back to him. Like, that's his glory.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's your joy. Some people could be like, they can see you carrying this little boy and try to figure out why you happy,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't know what it looked like
Mm-hmm.
versus what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the funny thing about God. Form a connection with him. Do it for yourself so that you can get exactly what you need, because everything is for a reason. Everything leads back to him for a reason. He needed this for something and somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And one day you'll know the purpose behind all of it. One day you'll understand the purpose behind the faith, the tears, the struggle, the struggles, the problems. You will, it'll, everything unfolds in his natural timing, and that's the wonderful thing about God.
Yes, no, seriously. I tell people now, like, you know, when I was first born, of course, I had moments where I was angry, frustrated. Because I tell people, we're being honest here. Yo, I went through two miscarriages, and this is what you give me. Like, I finally have a baby, and this is what you give me. So I had moments of being frustrated. After a while, I said, you know what? I feel like God has given me this child so that I can see what he's capable of. I can literally watch a miracle for my eyes and get to watch this. And so it's been amazing. Like, it's been tough. It's a struggle. But overall, it's been amazing. He's the happiest baby. Like, he's always happy and smiling. And for people around him, like the school he's in now, they literally say he's so ambitious. Like, he don't just sit there. He tells you what he wants. He can show you what he wants. There's nothing disabled about my son. He just can't walk and talk. If he could do it, he
He
would,
would.
because he wants to. Like, and it's just amazing to see him never quit. Like,
Right.
he knows his body is working against him, and he still says, "Okay, this is what we're going to do. Like,
Right.
I'm not going to quit." And it's just really, it's really been amazing to just watch everything. It's been amazing. In the school he's at now, with God in that school, I said, "Oh, he's gonna blossom here." I can. He's only been there a month, and
Oh,
they got,
really?
yes, he's only been in this new school a month, and they already got him in the gate trainer and seeing him walk. So he's going to take off. I'm telling y'all, it's going to take off. So it's been a blessing to sit here firsthand and get to watch them say, like you said, doctor saying what he wouldn't be able to do, and
Right.
for people doubting and people going, "Oh yeah, this is that." Nah, this is not it. Like, my son is going to have a happy, normal life, and he's going to do whatever it is that he wants to do, and I
Absolutely.
trust in God for that. Regardless of who does or doesn't believe, that's in my heart forever, and it's going to be there to the day I die. Like, that's just it. And I this video was just something different. I really pray that you guys really, really enjoyed this. Please continue to like, share, subscribe. Comment if you guys have any questions. If anybody else wants to be interviewed for anything, but please just continue to trust in God. Continue to push for God. I'm telling you, the things that He can do in your life is just simply amazing. No one else could ever do what He can do, and I really pray that this video really, really helps you to get a whole new type of faith, a whole new type of, okay, I can really trust him for this. I'm telling you, he can do whatever. He can do it all. Have a great day. Stay blessed. Have a great week. I love you guys. Just continue to watch, share, subscribe, and just have a great day. Bye.